Welcome back, friends. Today's segment, Sommi's winners. If you go to my Twitter profile, you click on results, you will come across my winners. These are the recorded ones, there's many others. These are just the juicy ones. The first one we're going to go through today is Alpha Finance. I made a 90x on USD, 30x on Bitcoin, 8,900% return. We're going to go look at Alpha. We're going to answer some questions. You guys have been asking me, when did I get in? Why? So we're going to dig deep, okay? Now, obviously, I've got the prophecies about Alpha. I didn't have Twitter at the time. I was active on Telegram. I did not like Twitter. Unfortunately, Alpha, it's not even called Alpha Finance anymore. It's called Alpha Venture DAO. And I'm like, oh no, man. Like, it's so sad to see this thing go down. Even though I sold. So, we're going to look at the juice together. What was I thinking and why? Because, look, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You are not going to have a why and a when. You're not going to be able to answer all the questions. You aren't. Sometimes a few things line up and they're just maybes, and you just have to hold. You got to set a certain condition and say that's it. So I'm going to show you where I bought and where I sold. So I bought down here and I sold actually around here. Started selling up here. I was actually pretty tilted. You know why? Because my first clip when I started selling, the next day it had doubled again. Something like went up like this upset me a lot. The fact that, I got out with like a big portion and then it was up another 50% the next day. It really upset me. But now you can imagine how greedy euphoria was around in the market, where I'm like, freaking hell, man, you went up even more. Now we're like begging for a green candle. But I remember feeling that. That was my first win. I made these prophecies. I did not know any of them would hit. But this thing blew my expectations. I was like, whoa, I'm onto something here. So why did I get in? Alpha Finance, they let you do leveraged yield farms. And yield farming was popular in DeFi season 2020. Let's have a quick look. Let's go to Ethereum. So right here, there was DeFi season. Okay, DeFi season was around here. So let's go look at synthetics. I hope they let us look at synthetics for the full chart. Can we see it? We're gonna need to see the full synthetics chart. I hope it's there somewhere. There'll be real shame. Oh, here we go. Okay. Synthetics, let's go to regular. Yeah, man, this is pretty big, right? Synthetics was one of the darlings of DeFi season. Because you can see, man, like from the low, 2019, like it went monster. Absolute monster. Let's actually see. It went absolutely huge, man. So, I want to have a look at, when you see synthetics, that's what you think of. DeFi. DeFi season 2020. People are talking about money markets, borrowing, lending, trading, everything to do with finance, DeFi. This is what brought big adoption to Ethereum, basically. This is what gave it its first proper use case that everyone could relate to. So, when this happened, believe it or not, I wasn't actually participating. All I knew about was Bitcoin. I was not on Twitter. I didn't know how to use YouTube. I did not know how to use anything. I just knew about Bitcoin. I researched Ethereum. I knew Ethereum was going to the moon. Didn't know anything else besides that. I didn't even know where to look. I had no idea. So when I came in at the top of DeFi season, right here. I came in here. So I knew that I can't be buying the top here, What kind of sucks is, right, so I came in and I thought like a 50% drop was a discount. And then I learned the hard way that, synthetics did amazing, right? But there are way other worse coins that did like 80 to 90%. So now you're learning crypto, okay? 60% in crypto is not cheap. 70% is not cheap, okay? 80% is where it's starting to be cheap. That's where you start to DCA. 90% is always on the cards. 95% is always on the cards. 50, 60, 70%, nowhere near done. They are nowhere near done, all right? They're nowhere near done. So, I'm just going to look at this chart. Like, if you bought in at 70%, which is here, $2.20, and then, like, it can go down it can halve again down to here. You can lose, like, another 60, 70% of your money very easily in crypto. It's so thin. So, what was I looking at? I knew DeFi season had come in. I started buying some tips, and I learned more. And I saw that everybody wanted passive income. Everyone wanted yield. And Alpha Finance were offering yield, but leverage. So they would let you do some complicated thing. I didn't understand the maths. It was some complicated stuff, man. Like, you don't need to know this. All I knew was, and believe it or not, I had a dream about Alpha Finance. This is the craziest part. I remember in 2020, I was in Telegram and I was talking to people, and I had a dream that someone invented leveraged yield farming. I woke up the next day, I asked around in Telegram, and one dude said to me, "Hey, Sommi, there's a coin out there where actually they're doing this idea, right?" I'm like, "What?" And it was Alpha Finance, and I bought in. Now, obviously, I wish I put in 10x more, because that would have been, I did okay, put a few bullets in, but it was my first one. I had no idea. It was actually one of the greatest wins ever, the very first one. So this was an echo of the DeFi season. So I thought, if there's DeFi season and that's passed and people want yield, then anybody upgrading that idea, which is leverage yield farms, that should do well. Looking back, it's funny because none of these ever eventuated to everything. It was just simply the idea. Do you understand? The idea, man. The team behind Alpha, very intelligent, very strong. Very smart people. But as you know, man, you know me by now, it's the community that's the asset, not the code. So when I sat here looking through this stuff new, I'm like, oh, wow, this white paper, I don't understand it, but it sounds smart. And these people are cool and intelligent. And like one of them went to MIT, and there's a girl, and she's like super, super genius. And they all have these complicated maths. And I was like, oh, and it's DeFi, yay. None of that meant anything. So you could almost call it a fluke. But I had a feeling, I did the research. I thought, DeFi season, anything linked to that, what are people going to want? They're going to want more yield. Anything to do with that theme, people are going to want to attach themselves to. And this is why it went absolute moonshot. This is the Alpha BTC chart. So I'm proud of this one. I'm proud. I held the whole way. So you're probably going to ask, why did you even know? How did you even know to get out? Because, it goes, comes all the way back. How did you even know to get out? Well, just some tricks. This is, I'm going to tell you this now, because none of these are really concrete. You have to look at a few things. So, one, you don't know if you're on a home run winner or just like an average winner. You don't know. You don't even have a feeling. Like, everything feels good, but you got no idea. No idea at all. So, sometimes what you can do is, you can draw a fib. I don't use fibs to trade. They just show you an extension of the whole range. So you're getting the top of this range. You draw it all the way down. And for some reason, market psychology, we like the most extreme of extreme extensions is the 4.236 extension. Surprise, surprise, exactly my targets. Right up here, yeah? Isn't it funny? So you can add the other ones. I think I should add the other ones here. The 2.618, 1. Here we go. So this is beautiful. Now we can actually see. You can see the different targets. You can see where my targets were here, right? Now it now makes sense. But, looking back, you don't know if it was even going to go that far. Who's to say it didn't just stop here? And then imagine I'd never got out. I never got anything out here. I never got anything out. I was brazen balls. Like a bull in a china shop. I was ready to destroy everyone. I was like, oh... Because I was printing money, stimulus, I really had the belief in my head that Bitcoin was going to 180,000. And at this time, Bitcoin was only like 20. So you can only imagine I'm like, well, we're nowhere near my target. So why don't I even worry about getting out, man? You know? So that's why I held on here. You need belief. You really do need belief. And I don't mean blind belief. You need a macro framework. You need something where you say, okay, my conditions to scale out are, right? And you're listening to me for high value content, so I'm actually going to give it to you. So you do it out in parts. If I could go back in time, I would do it in parts. I would say, all right, you know, my target for Bitcoin is 180,000. So, right, when it hits 60,000, 1/3, I'm going to get out like 1/3. Just like that. No matter where any of my altcoins are, I'm just going to get out 1/3. Do you see how at least you're putting your hand in another pile of macro that you kind of hedge yourself against? See, this is where the situation gets sticky because it had made a lower high when Bitcoin had crashed. Look at this. You'd missed out on the top. But you still get out. You know, you still get to hold here. You really do. You know, April, May, Bitcoin was around here. You could have gotten out. So that is two things you can look at. You can look at your target. And unfortunately, I mean, I was way off. I thought Bitcoin was going to $180,000. I really think it should have hit over 100K at least if FTX didn't do the scamming. But when I was looking at Alpha, I wasn't thinking about that. All I was thinking about was the target is the target, and that's it. And this one hit. There are others that didn't hit, and I eventually have to get them out as they turn back. Another trick you can use. Okay, so quick summary, right? So you can use a fib extension. These are extreme. Like anything that hits this 4.23, you're out by default. This is like super, super, super extreme. But a nice way to really go about this is set a fixed number. Really, just set a fixed number. You know, sometimes people like to get out around the range high. So this might have been the first, you know, someone gets out a bit. Because you don't know that it's going to break the high or not, right? So I'm in the telegrams. I'm asking around. People are joining. No one really understood this. There was a DeFi season. There was nothing really that even said this should have gone up. Really, when I think about it, it just went up. So, you know, I know you want some concrete answers, but that's not how the game works. The game works like this. You need balls. There are no concrete answers. You have to have balls. You got to put the boxing gloves on. You got to fight. And you got to hold. You can't be a paper hand. If you want a paper hand here, you miss out on everything. I got my 8,900% or whatever, a 90x. You didn't get that, man. You need balls. You need to hold until the prophecy is done. But you can make your own ones. And this is the beautiful part of why you're listening to me. So you have these fib extensions. You don't know where it's going to go. So a nice general view before we even look at Alpha is we can go to Bitcoin. Okay? We can go to Bitcoin or Ethereum. You know, you can do this on Ethereum and Bitcoin if you want. And what you might do, you see these candles, change it to a Heikin-Ashi. It gives you the average of the open, high, low close in a candle color. So you can see, and change it to a weekly. So you can see green means the average of the prices are going up and red means they're going down. Okay. So where we are today, if you were here, because remember, Alpha was pumping in January. So we were here, okay? They were pumping in January. Your first red Heikin-Ashi candle came 25th of January. Let's say this prints and you don't know what to do. You're like, oh, Sommi, the first red candle, what do I do? What do I get out? And I'm like, well, it can keep going up, but it's also, this could be a turn, you know, this could be a turn. I was not worried at the time because 33,000 is nowhere near my target of 180,000, right? But it's still possible we do that, right? It's still possible. See, you don't know what's going to come next. It's just that green candles did come. So you can choose to just get out a third. Get out 1/3, man. And you're charting against Bitcoin. So your Alpha, you would get out 1/3 back to Bitcoin. Obviously, I'd choose Ethereum. You get what point, or half and half, you know. You get back out to your stable asset. Another juicy condition, you wait for the next red candle here. This printed the first red candle for Bitcoin. 19th of April. We're going to go back to Alpha and see what you could have done. So this is your condition. So effectively what you're saying is, you're saying, well, I don't know where alpha's going to stop. It can be 2x, 20, 50x. It went all the way to 90x for me. You know, I binked the top. But you might not get the chance that I got. So at least you can protect yourself. So you might now say, all right, I need protection, Sommi. What do? We open up Bitcoin chart, you put it on a weekly, and you just observe when is the momentum starting to shift. And this is no guarantee, by the way. Look what happened here. See? If you did this here, red, but you end up missing out on everything. Look here after the zombie virus. Red, you end up missing out on everything. So I wish I could give you clear answers. We can't. We can go back to 2017. Look what happened in 2017. Aren't you a bozo? Look at you. You're a poopy head. You got out, we rally. You got out, we rally. This is why the 2021 cycle ruined so many people. But this is an option you have. Don't try to be perfect. You can scale out again. So when did this candle come? Came in 19th of April. You don't have to get everything out. So we can go back. We can go look at April. Where were we in April? April here. So at least you get another third out here. You're out 2/3. And you can do whatever you want with the rest. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to get everything perfect. But when I'm up here, I'm up 5, 6x straight away. And I don't even bother getting out. But this thing looks like it's turning. So now you're like, damn, man, what do I do? What do I do? See how painful this is? This is painful if you're watching it. Let's put on a... This is painful. You think it's going to come all the way back. You're like, oh my God, I had 5x. Why didn't I get out? And that's your condition. You say, all right, well, if Bitcoin, if alpha's turning, I might get out a third. So you could even put this on Heikenhashi, right? Let's put it on a weekly. That's what you might have said, you know. If alpha's turning, I get out a third. Whatever. You don't get your 5x, you get your 2 or 3x. And then if Bitcoin's turning, I get a third out. Which ended up being April here. And look, alpha turned on another red candle. Again up here. You say, oh, I'm only going to sell on the first red candle. Just get out some. And you get them out, you know. You got here, you got here, you got here. Fair enough. You don't make my 90x or whatever, how much I made. 30x on the BTC, which is around here. I made that much. You only make about here. And yeah, I wish I could give you better answers. You don't make 30x, you make 6 or 7. This is why just the great stuff that happens, are they anomalies or were they just a product of you putting the gloves on and fighting the whole way? I wish I could give you more answers. But this is the reality of the situation. This is why so many people get wrecked. And this is why so many people follow false leaders. So you're going to have to decide. I've now shown you alpha. The story didn't even make sense. It's now a DAO. But it was an echo of DeFi yield season. It was familiar with that narrative. So I've learned from this. And we're going to do it for the next cycle. Whatever narrative starts forming, we are only going to participate around the outskirts, anything remotely related to it. That's what we're going to participate in. It's better to buy momentum in those than buy stuff that's not going to move at all because there's too many coins out there. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to have, these are the conditions you can make. You go, okay, I hold until there's a burst up of green candles and on the first red Heikenhashi, I'm going to get out there. This is a weekly. You might say, weekly is too much. Let's do a 3-day. And look at this. Look at this. Now you can improve your average price exit. So remember out here. So you would have actually sold here. So Heikenhashi, don't be fooled by the wicks. Always assume the worst price of the candle. Always assume you are literally like right here, this little part. You always assume you have to sell the bottom of that candle right here. So fair enough, you know, up the top was 6.5x. This is about a 4x. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. And up here, you get to sell here. And then where was that April thing for Bitcoin? Here we go, around here. So let's actually do those. So you have here. You have a little circle here. And then you have this one here. You get out a third each time. The average price is like somewhere here. Once again, you don't get to make my 30x, right? You probably only make around, 8, 9. Still great. Still great. It's still great. But at least you got a method now. We're going to go through this many times. So I'm showing you what I would do if I could go back in time. And the answer was I would actually make less money because it would protect me in many other coins. But that's in hindsight. You don't know, because I just showed you. This is the beautiful part about why you're listening to me. I just showed you Bitcoin and how the method I would tell you I would use, it failed in the other cycles. This method did not work. You got crushed. You got crushed. Look at this. You sold the bottoms each time. You sold the bottom, it rallies. You sold the bottom, it rallies. You sold the bottom here. Oh, look, no, it rallies again. You sold the bottom again, it rallies. This is not foolproof. Maybe you have to do 3 days. This is not, I'm sorry, friends. I'm sorry. Bitcoin's patterns, they change too much, and so do crypto. The participants, it's different, but it's the same. There is no magic formula. So when you're looking through this lens, I want you to appreciate, you go, oh, okay, this must mean a lot of people got screwed. And your answer is right, because everyone was using techniques from 2017 and none of them worked. You know who it worked for? The people who just said, oh, I'm getting out for a 3x. Yeah, it actually worked for those people this time. People with paper hands. It actually worked for them, Is it going to work for them next time? That's what we don't know. Are they all going to get faked out? Are they all going to get faked out? That might happen, right? So I joined Alpha, I looked at the Telegram, I looked at the community, and at the end of the day, none of them really mattered because there was a DeFi season, okay? There was a DeFi season. So there was, let's just start, okay? There was context. DeFi season. Alpha was an echo relation to the context narrative. So it doesn't matter what the narrative is. This was remotely related to it. Because next time there might not be a DeFi season. There's going to be something else. Why did I even buy it in the first place? The answer is because it was cheap, man. The answer is because it was so cheap. It was so down. So really, the story didn't even matter. The story didn't even matter. It was down 88%. I think I was buying like here. 86, 87%. And now 60% in crypto here is not good enough. 70 is not good enough. 80, maybe. Maybe. All right? Maybe. This was the previous cycle. In these new ones, you might not get more than 80%. But you don't know. You should start DCAing. Every week. Put it in. 80, 85, 90. That's what you might have to do. You might have to split your bullet into 3 sections. You get something at 80, you put in at 85, you put it at 90. And then, if it goes 95, you really got to evaluate whether you want it or not. Because then you have to trim other stuff. Okay? So, when did I get in? You see where I got in. I got a 90x. Yes, this was a home run of home runs. You're looking for the signals. What was the signals to get in? It was the context around a narrative. And it was cheap. If I had this dream and everything was happening and all the things were moving and I was not in and these green candles happened, no, I would not have gotten in. I would not have gotten in. Mark my words. I do not buy green candles. I'm not exit liquidity for anyone. They are exit liquidity for me to get in. Do you understand that? You never forget my words again. We are winners here. We don't buy at the top of green fat momentum candles for people to take profit on us. Yes, it kept going in this time. There's 1,000 plus other coins where it didn't. I buy this. I buy deep, fat, red depression. That's what I buy. I stand in front of this. Gimme, 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 gimme. But that was because Bitcoin still could pump through the all-time high at this point. Would I do this again if Bitcoin was, say, 50, 40K? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You might say, okay, Sommi, how would you have modified it? You might say, all right, well, you might rather buy after a big fat green momentum candle, right? Maybe just change it to 3-day because the daily is a bit too small because they can fake anything. You might say, okay, I'm going to wait and watch these. When there's 3 days of green, I'm going to start getting in. That's when you get in. You might be better off buying that. By the way, you're not going to buy the bottom of this candle. You end up you have to accept that from the bottom, you are buying plus 60% straight away. So this might be another way to protect us. We put the 3-day chart and you wait for it to turn, because this is about as macro as you can get. I've noticed weekly's too much in crypto. We move too fast. 3-day is the max. You have to go down to a 3-day. 3-day is the juice. So, showing you, I made 90x. Big fat 90x. Big fat 90x. Alpha Finance. Now it means nothing. We chart in Bitcoin. And finally, okay, was I scared? No, because there was more upside in Bitcoin and Ethereum to go. So I was never scared. And you want to know, okay, what signals to exit and what signals to enter. We know the signals to enter. I want minus 80% or lower. I want depression, blood. Give me a freaking discount. You don't want to give me a discount? I'm moving to the next coin. I don't care. Give me a big, fat, juicy discount. If I go back in time, I will DCA, even though I nailed the bottom of this by coincidence. So you would buy a bit at minus 80, minus 85, minus 90. And then you might also say, okay, on the first 3-day green candle, Heikenhashi, we add another bullet. At least you're participating over time here. And when do you exit? Also on the 3-day. When it flips red, you exit like a third when you're in profit. You exit a third. This could have happened down here, by the way. And you got to decide, maybe you want to get out a third as well. You say, screw it, I'm just going to get it a third. And that's okay, because not everything's going to be a super moonshot. That's 1/3 you get out here. And then you wait, you say, maybe there's another wave, then maybe there isn't. If there isn't another wave, well, I wait. If there is another wave, you wait. So really, you don't do anything at all. You're still going to wait for Bitcoin to turn, right? So no matter what, so if alpha went down or up, if it went down or up from here, it wouldn't matter. You've already got a third out, and you're going to get a third out when Bitcoin turns. So you're going to have that final third left, and that's your moonshot bag. That's your I'm selling this in the end of the year bag. You have to just pick a point in time where it breaks all the rules. You say, that's it. I'm selling this when Bitcoin hits 100K. I'm selling this in December. I'm selling this in November because it's 18 months over the Bitcoin halving, I'm selling this if... That's what you say. At least you've gotten out 2/3 by this point. So that's why there is no golden 100% opportunity to tell you, yes, this indicator says we're going to go up. You don't know who's going to come on market buy. So, Alpha, I got 90x. I had a dream about it. It's now called a DAO. Things change drastically. There are fib extensions you can use. Draw these levels up. I've noticed in crypto, it's much better to be getting out a bit early, scaling out, than trying to wait for that magical number because the liquidity is so thin. So this is the first sommi winner. We're going to go through more. Hope you liked it, friends.